Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill, voted Houston's best burger. Come by any of the 5 Houston area Christian's Tailgate locations and enjoy never frozen ground beef on a toasted bun with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and your choice of cheese. Your award-winning burger is then served with hand-cut fries or buttermilk battered onion rings. Each tailgate location is a large selection of draft beer and $3 shots. Come early for the game and stay late for karaoke. Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill with 5 Houston area
Houston Methodist
locations.
is still here for you, seeing patients who need our care. Even in these uncertain times, our commitment remains the same. We put our patients at the center of everything we do. We can see you virtually, we can talk to you on the phone, we can even see you in person if needed. Rest assured, we are taking every precaution to keep you safe. We're still here for you. Contact your doctor's office or visit houstonmethodist.org/here-for-you.
The following is a presentation of the Rice Sports Network. From Learfield IMG College. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, welcome to Rice Owls Insider. Rice Owls Insider is presented by Christian's Tailgate, voted best burger in Houston. Carbach Brewing Company, crafted for serious fun. IBEW Local Union number 716. And by Houston Methodist, leading medicine. Now, here's the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
Welcome back. Happy quarantining. Hope you are safe out there, washing your hands, being socially distant. I am JP Heath with another fun edition of Rice Owls Insider. We hit the track and field today, talking to Rice Hall of Famer, reigning Conference USA Indoor Coach of the Year, Jim Bevan, coming up in just seconds. We also have Jon Warren, men's track and field coach, coming up later on. Big shout out to Christian's Tailgate for helping us here, our original home of the Matt Braga Show, which we obviously can't have. Heard from Coach Braga a couple weeks back, but check out Christian's Tailgate. They're great Rice supporters. That Westview location is open for your business as far as getting to go and pick up. 832-925-7922. 832-925-7922. Cheeseburgers, grilled shrimp salads, quesadillas, buffalo chicken wraps, all the good bar food that Coach Bevan might not recommend when you're on your track and field diet, right? Coach, great to see you here in the podcast form as well. I should tell fans that can listen to you too, but great seeing you again. How are you?
It's good to see a familiar face. Good to see you.
I've been starting off with each of the coaches. I'll do it with Coach Warren too, but just these unprecedented times, kind of walk us through what it's been like for you personally, you and the family, but also handling the team and the international flavor of that, because I'm sure you've got different folks all across the globe here.
Yeah. Personally, I spend my day with Zoom meetings and FaceTime and answering emails. We're still recruiting. We're staying in touch with our kids. I look forward to getting on the treadmill at the end of the day. We've got a treadmill in the garage. My wife and I, we've run more in the last 6 weeks and probably 6 months because we do it every day now, and it's good, and we haven't got hurt, thankfully. Walk the dog, just trying to stay with it. And yeah, we do have some international athletes, and we had a young lady from Milan, and she couldn't get home, and she did get home right after Easter, and had to quarantine for 14 days. But all of her family was just in the house the whole time, and we've got another young lady who was on study abroad in Australia, and she's from Argentina, and she's not able to get back. So she actually left Sydney and is near a national park in a beautiful place doing online at her study abroad in Australia in a beautiful park next to the water. Like, she sent pictures, so she's in a gorgeous location, but the other side is she can't get home. Like, she cannot get home right now to Argentina, to Buenos Aires. So we had another one get the last flight back to Serbia. Literally, her and her family got the last flight at spring break back to Serbia. So everybody's dealing this in different ways, and it's a worldwide issue. So
Yeah, that's a good segue there. As you were telling me right before we started recording, kind of walk through it. I was at the Conference USA basketball tournament. Everything kind of exploded. But you told me, speaking of flights,
Yeah.
y'all were very close to heading out to New Mexico. And then
literally, Michele Fokin and Grace Forbes had qualified for indoor nationals. And I had asked permission to miss the mandatory meeting at 4:00 because Michele had missed some school and I wanted to be able to go to class. And so we were about to board. We were B35 through 37 on Southwest. They had called the A's. A's were boarding. It's 3:30 and we're headed to Albuquerque. I believe everybody was already there. All the athletes were in Albuquerque. They were setting the meet up to run without coach, without any fans, without any family, but with coaches only in the stadium. And we thought we were going, and when we get the message from the NC2A, meet canceled. So we were about to board, and that's how our indoor season ended, was about to board to go to nationals. So
let's back up. In this first segment with Coach, we're going to talk about cross country. You placed fourth in the Conference USA Championships. You mentioned Grace. She earned all conference honors. Was it fifth overall, freshman of the meet? Just kind of a prelude of things to come for her, a sensational freshman. Michele Patel, all conference honors. So discuss them and just the overall cross-country season, what you liked and what you see for improvement.
Yeah, we weren't really 100% healthy this year. We had a good season. Going into it, I was hoping for a little bit more, but we really weren't 100% healthy. Lourdes Vivas de Lorenzi had gone to nationals the year before, and she had some ankle problems. And bottom line is we were missing her, and we were missing Sari Vajkovic and Ruby Watson, but yet we had Grace Forbes come in as a freshman. And Grace Forbes improved throughout the year. I think if we had rerun conference at regionals, she might have won. But for a freshman, she had a great year. She qualified for nationals. She was only 15 seconds out of All-American. And then Kayla Patel has been our steady person, steady Eddie. She was all conference again. And we ran well at conference. Middle Tennessee was they put it together. And no matter how we would have run, Middle Tennessee was going to win. We did have a fifth place finish at regionals, and we beat a number of Power 5 schools. We beat Baylor and SMU and TCU and LSU, and we had a real good performance at regionals. And we return everybody next year minus Kayla, and hopefully Lourdes is back 100%. And she's the girl that's in Australia right now, study abroad. We're missing Ryan Helmers, who was the number 1 or 2 freshman the year before. So we were missing her. We get her back, and we got almost our whole team back next year, and plus a couple of new freshmen. And so I'm very optimistic about next fall that we're going to have maybe the best season we've had in a few years.
Yeah, you've proven you can coach the core when they are coming back, when they don't come back. I know you'll be modest in that, but just having that core coming back with that momentum, what's that feel like in an anticipation? Like right now, like we talked starting off this interview, you just want to get out there running again as soon as possible.
On one hand, I'm looking forward to next fall. On the other hand, we don't know if we are going to be competing next fall, and it's a long ways away. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping everybody can be safe and be healthy, and things will turn around and we can have a fall. But that being said, getting Ryan Helmers back and getting Ruby and Sarah back and Lourdes at 100%. And then we've got Alyssa Ballandron and Ashley Messinio, and we've got a good core for next fall. It's just, I'm hoping for next fall. And I know we're all going to be safe. We're going to be smart, and we'll see about next fall right now. I don't know if it's 50-50 or 70-30. I don't know what it is, but we will in our minds, in the back of our minds, you've got to prepare for it. So,
like I read all the contingencies for football, which and I know you're a big football guy. We're always talking off about that when we run into each other. So what's the contingency if it is backed up? Is it the season can't be ran, or could they back it up deeper into the fall?
Because cross-country runners tend to do cross-country indoor and outdoor. And the cross-country season up north, once you get to mid to late November and you get into December, January, in some parts of the country, it's hard. In some parts here, it's great to have cross-country in the winter, And I have not heard anybody discuss any contingency plans yet. But we're having a Conference USA head coaches meeting on Wednesday, and I think that's one of the topics we're going to discuss on Wednesday is, maybe we can start in October, and have an abbreviated season, or maybe we can start in November. But one thing about it is cross country runs into indoor, which runs into outdoor, and so at some juncture, those athletes are 3-sport athletes, and so how it all mixes is a little different than solely football. It'll be an interesting meeting on Wednesday. It will be a very interesting Zoom meeting.
Yeah, running there will be a lot better than running that treadmill in the garage. At least get them out of there. But stay tuned more with the Hall of Famer, Coach Bevan. Right after this, we'll talk about indoor season and more about Rice track and field. After this here on Rice Owls Insider.
What do you do when you need safe, reliable corporate transportation? You go Wynn. Wynn Transportation is one of the largest group transportation providers in Texas, a leader in charters, shuttles, and special events of all sizes. 5 people or 5,000. Wynn offers customized team transportation with a wide range of motor coaches, minibuses, and vans. So, for safe, reliable corporate transportation, do like the Owls and go Wynn. Book at gowynn.com. GOWYNNE.com.
Hey, Papa John's here. Who wants a boring sandwich when you can have our new Papadillas at Papa John's? 4 exciting flavors, just $6 each. You're going to love it. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's, Houston.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Beer needs baseball and baseball needs beer. Good thing Little Woodrow's has plenty of both. Right in the heart of Rice Village, relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that even college students can't refuse. With weekly trivias, bingo nights, and fun events, there's always something to do at your favorite local watering hole. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on all our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
At Smart Financial, we think your banking experience should feel like a home run. Since 1934, we have prided ourselves on providing hassle-free services with a game plan that focuses on people, not profits. If you live, work, or go to school at or around Rice University, text RICE to 276-278 to become a part of the winning team. That's RICE to 276-278. Smart Financial, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back to Rice Owls Insider and the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. I am voice of your Rice Owls, JP Heath. No, I don't do any track announcing per se, but we've been covering a lot here during this quarantine time. Hope that your family is safe and well out there. Reminder, you can catch this in podcast format as well, not just on the Rice Athletics YouTube channel, but Spotify, Apple, you know the drill on the podcast form. That's what I really like about this time. We'll get into some of that later maybe with Coach, but we did want to talk about more on the indoor side. We hit on cross country, so indoor, outdoor in this segment here. But first time since 2009, Coach, 4th time I think I read in program history, you get the Conference USA indoor title, 6 individual champions, 10 all-conference performers. So you had to be pretty giddy about that.
Yeah, we really performed well. If you make a chart, scoring chart before every meet, if you can get within 90, my old mentor said, if you can get within 90% of what you predict, you've had a great meet. And we actually were about 105, 107% of what we projected. Like, we had a great meet. And it did boil down to the wire with us in Middle Tennessee. And it's interesting, you can read coaches sometimes being around them either right before the meet or during, you can kind of get a feel for how confident they are. And I think we surprised in our performances a little bit. I always felt like we had a good chance to win. It was going to be a battle. It was going to be a real good battle. And track is fun from a standpoint. It's an individual sport, but when it's a team battle, it's almost like a boxing match. You throw a blow and they throw a blow back at you. And it's like, it goes back and forth. And that's the way the meet was. We might have a disappointment, and then another event we'd rise to the occasion and go better than we were expected. And they might do the same thing, Middle Tennessee. And it was one of those meets. And we ended up coming on top, and our young ladies did a tremendous job. I couldn't be prouder for the job we did. And like I told you briefly, I mean, outdoors, I had felt confident all year we were going to be great because different events, the discus, the javelin, the hep instead of the pent, getting Julia back healthy, like all this stuff. Outdoors, I felt like we're going to be great. The best team maybe in 8 or 10 years. But outdoors, we're going to be great. Indoors, it was going to be really dicey. And so it was nice to win, and they really put it together.
And Rice fans should get used to the name Grace Forbes. You talked about her in our cross-country segment, but she led the way in the indoor, won the mile, 3,000 meters, and CUSA female high point score, freshman of the meet honor. So you've got to be so fortunate to have her back here for a few more years, huh?
Grace she's special now, and she's just now becoming a runner. Like, she played soccer and ran on the side, and then her junior year she became more of a runner and less of a soccer player, and then her senior year of high school she committed to running. And we were fortunate to get her, and one of the reasons we got her is the academic portion of Rice. Her parents are both in the medical field, and our pre-med is a big deal, and they've got family friends down here, but her older sister is a junior on the team, so she was happy. And anyways, we were fortunate to get her, and she broke our school record in the 3,000, qualified for nationals. And I didn't do the statistics. I haven't checked. It's hard to check, but she's in the top 3 all-time freshmen in the United States, all time. Wow. And I think if we had had an indoor national meet, she was going to surprise some people. I think she would have scored as a freshman. And we're lucky to have her as a freshman. And what she did at conference was awesome. She just went out and dominated everybody in the mile and the 3K. And like I said, she's a tremendous asset, and we're lucky to have her. Yeah.
And 2 other familiar names, Michele Fokin and Hannah Jackson. Michele earned an individual title, won her 8th career Conference USA title with the triple jump. Broke her own school record, I think I had read.
Right.
Then Hannah Jackson, superb on the Sunday with the 200 meters and the 60, her 4th at the Conference USA Championship. So those are our 2 names we're all familiar with, Hannah and Michele.
Michele and Hannah, both seniors. And Michele and Hannah are both clutch performers. Michele, she's won on her last jump. I don't know how many times. She broke her own school record, and 18 points. And then Hannah, she dominated the 200 and 3rd in the 60. She came at the end in the 60, and every point was important. And they're both clutch performers, and they both are very strong team leaders. And I think both of them, they would prefer to win a team title than an individual title. And it was a big deal for them because they had not been a part of a team title. And they really came through. And when you look at Grace, Michele, and Hannah, we've got a great history in track and field, women's track and field, in track and field at Rice overall, but in women's track and field as well. And all 3 of them are school record holders. And to have 3 school record holders in a program that's been around for 40 years on the same team, that says a lot about the quality of this group. And on a side note, Michele she won the Conference USA. I'm not sure exactly the title of it. It's like Citizen Award, like Community Service Award. She won that for indoor track and field as well. So it tells you about the kind of person she is. for community service, I think. And then Hannah Jackson got admitted to an MIT Harvard PhD program that people from all over the world are trying to get in. Only 25 get admitted. Everything's paid for. And like you're talking about, these are first class quality people in every way, and senior leaders and roommates. So those two, and the other roommate, Zenadine Russell, you're probably going to lead in. She won conference in the pentathlon. That's the other roommate from Jamaica, and she won our Scholar Athlete Award with a 399 in civil engineering. So, these kids are, I shouldn't say kids, these young ladies are tremendous, and they do Rice proud in regards to, the academic side, the civic side, and then the athletic side. And they are such tremendous ambassadors for Rice women's track, Rice athletics, and Rice University as a whole.
It's one of my favorite topics, Coach. The different coaches I interviewed, does it ever cease to amaze you? You told just a little bit about Hannah there. In the others, my gosh, all these in your Hall of Fame career, it continues to, I'd imagine, even impress somebody like you.
Well, it does. It really does impress me. And they are such tremendous people, tremendous ambassadors. And I think, Rice challenges you, and they respond to the challenge. And anybody who says you can't be a great athlete at a school like Rice, it's ridiculous. We've got so much evidence of you can be a great athlete and you can get a great degree. And we've got so much evidence of people like these for 40 years, going back to when Victor started the program. So anyways, I'm fortunate to be able to work with them. So
let's go into outdoor. Can you talk about what you're expecting and what you missed out on? Because I know Forbes, Fokin were both set to compete at the NCAAs when the meet was then called off.
Yeah. Outdoors, again, we thought we were going to be even better. A young lady named Tara Simpson won the 20-pound weight throw indoors, but in the hammer is her better event. I think she was going to win the hammer, and I think she would have gone to nationals, a final round of nationals. She's just a freshman, and she won indoors on her last throw. She went from 5th to 1st on her last throw, and just a freshman. And the hammer's her better event. Casey Waddy, and Waddy is a local girl from Seven Lakes, just like Michele Fokin. She was second in the high jump at indoor conference, and she was a triple jump, high jump combo. She's doing great things. Erna Guna's daughter went to nationals last year in the shot put. She would be better outdoors. I don't want to dismiss all of our pole vaulters, and Kylie Sweekatowski is a senior that she's medaled second. She's been 4th. She's been 5th. But she's our pole. We've got a big group of pole vaulters. We feel like in 21 events, there's 21 events outdoors, that we had a chance to score in 18 of them. And it's interesting to be a private school with limited amount of admission slots, and yet to be well-rounded and be able to go into a meet and attack from 18 different categories and have people. And so we have a really good, well-rounded team with quality across the board.
And it's something you're very familiar with is the Olympic process, obviously, but can you touch on how COVID has pushed everything back to 2021? And I even heard some things that it could even ruffle that a bit. Depending on what expert you want to listen to. But what impact has that had on the likes of Michele, Fokin, many other former Owls?
Thankfully, they did adjust the date. The Olympics have been adjusted to 2021. I think it got moved up about a week. They moved our Olympic trials up a week, but at one time, Michele was really concerned about being able to train if the Olympic trials were going on. And, here she is holed up in her room. And so thankfully, I think when they said it was going to be next year, that was a relief to her. And it gives us time. And we've got 3 Rice people next year that should be at the Olympic trials, and maybe 4. Hannah, we don't know what Hannah's going to be up to, but Michele should be there, the Olympic trials and the triple jump, maybe the long jump. And and Hannah could be there in the 200. We just don't know if her situation at MIT, Harvard, Rice, we don't know what's going on. And then Grace Forbes could have a trial standard. And then the biggest one is Ari Yentz, who graduated from Rice in, I think, 2012. She was the USA champion last year in the javelin and went to the world championships. So she could be our, I don't know what number it is, 10th, 11th, 12th Olympian, Ari. But it's going to have to happen next year because it's not going to happen this year. So Ari Yentz is a Rice alum that works here at Houston, and she trains at Rice. And next year's a big year for her. So we're going to have 3 or 4, and there might even be a 5th we're not aware of that might make the Olympic trials.
So let's wrap up. I wanted you to touch also, like we began talking about things I've been asking the other coaches, just any seniors that won't be returning, just any, I know it might be a long list. I'm not entirely sure, but just that your fond memories of them and what they've meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 10 seniors, and it's a tremendous group. One in particular came back and got her master's at Rice. She came back. Nicole Mitchell came back and ran. She's a walk-on girl that she scored for us in the DMR at conference, and she had gotten better and better. She was not really a high school track athlete, and she came back and chose to run while getting her master's this year at Rice. And Kendall Bryce is another young lady that didn't have much of a season, and she's graduating from Rice and moving on. Sarah Glover, Sage McAdams, all their kids that got into Rice on their own and joined us. And then Hannah Bablak was ready to make a difference outdoors. And, her senior year, outdoors gone. Hannah, Michele, Julia Sportoletti wasn't healthy. We thought she was going to be healthy outdoors, the girl from Milan. Kylie Sweekatowski, the vaulter. And then Zinedine Russell. I mean, those are all seniors that I don't want to leave any. I think I got them all. But we had a meeting on Friday after the NC2A meet was canceled on Thursday. And we had a team meeting. They're getting ready to scatter for spring break, for a 4-day spring break, and then we're going to bring them back. And you could see the tears in their eyes. I told them, we're not going to have a senior year, outdoor season. And I mean, it's hard. But the bigger thing is we're fighting a worldwide disease here, and what we're doing is the right thing to do. It's not about us having an outdoor season. It's about fighting this virus, and so it's just strange times, and it was hard on the seniors. It's very hard on the seniors because they don't have a chance for closure. We've been pointing towards conference in San Antonio, and they didn't get a chance for that closure, and so it's hard. It is hard. So.
Hey, Coach, thanks for all you do representing Rice. You're a treasure. Can't wait to catch up with you outside of a Zoom when things get back to normal, whatever that new normal is. But appreciate the time, Coach.
Thank you, JP. Thank you for all you do.
Appreciate it. Hall of Famer Jim Bevan. Stay tuned. Coming up, we'll touch on the men's side coming up with men's track and field coach Jon Warren after this on Rice Owls Insider.
With Houston Methodist Virtual Urgent Care, you can skip the drive and the waiting room and connect to our board-certified providers from your computer, tablet, or mobile phone. Virtual urgent care visits are available 24/7, no appointment needed, even on weekends and holidays. Now you can get the same trusted care you expect from Houston Methodist, wherever you are, whenever you need us.
To learn more, visit HoustonMethodist.org. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
The Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites is the preferred hotel for anybody visiting the Medical Center, the Museum District, or Rice University. We offer the largest suites in the Medical Center, complete with full kitchens, and our full-service restaurant and outdoor pool will make your stay complete. We look forward to having you experience the Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites soon. And if you need a group rate or need 10 or more rooms, don't forget to call 713-528-7744. That's 713-528-7744.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The Parking Spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the Parking Spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
Beer needs baseball and baseball needs beer. Good thing Little Woodrow's has plenty of both. Right in the heart of Rice Village, relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that even college students can't refuse. With weekly trivias, bingo nights, and fun events, there's always something to do at your favorite local watering hole. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on all our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
You're listening to Rice Owls Insider. Let's rejoin JP Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. Appreciate Coach Bevan so much. And now we switch to the men's side of things with the great Jon Warren. Him in just seconds. Wanted to talk about our great sponsor, Applied Production Services. They are the total event source. They've been helping us out here on Rice Owls Insider, ready to provide your special event with the expertise needed to make it run smooth and cost efficient. Whether you're christening a multi-million-dollar oil platform, when that gets back up and going, you got some foreign dignitaries coming in or throwing a party for 50 or 5,000 of your friends when that quarantine's lifted. APS can provide the necessary infrastructure and equipment to make your event a success. For more information, visit appliedproductionservices.com. Jon Warren, how are you?
I am great. I am tired of being in my house and in my neighborhood. I'd rather be in other parts of the city and the world right now.
I've been asking all the Rice coaches the first question out of the chute. Just how are things with you personally, your family, and just managing the team, as I'm sure you've had to turn psychologist and counselor at the same time, and with some foreign athletes at different parts of the globe. How you've been handling with all of that together?
Most of the guys are doing really, really well. We've had very little issues with overly stressed guys. Interestingly, one of our kids is from Spain, and he flew back. His parents wanted him to be back in Spain. He can't, he's just now being allowed to leave his apartment or his house. So he's kind of stuck in that house. So he's got pretty much a rough time. Most guys are able to get out and do stuff and stay sane. The distance runners have a better deal than the rest. They can go run. That's pretty much legal everywhere except for maybe Spain. The hard part is any of the guys that need to lift weights. It's awful tough to do much with if you have a couple 25-pound dumbbells and you're literally used to squatting 800 pounds. It's a tough transition.
Mm-hmm. So give us your thoughts on what you were doing. I was just talking to Coach Bevan about it. He was at the airport when he got word that everything was canceled as they were going out to New Mexico, but just what you were doing and how you've had to adjust and manage things in such a physical sport during this crazy time.
We were out at practice, and it was just so funny. We all had our phones. It was almost like Ivy League canceled, then the Big Ten canceled, like bam, bam, the tournaments. And then you saw delays, and it's just like this might have started on Thursday, and then it was like Thursday morning was like the first cancellation, and then by Friday afternoon everything was done. The whole spring season was done. It was shocking. The coach at UTSA told me at the indoor championships, he said, I'm worried that we're going to cancel the outdoor championships. I'm like, they'll never do that. Then, no, we're way beyond that. We canceled the entire spring season and from a track perspective, the summer season. It's done.
Yeah. A new normal is the abnormal. Like we were joking about before we started recording. Yeah. You want that stress again. You want the competition. I imagine you being at the height of your profession and the athletes at the height of their careers, almost like that. They thrive for that again. It's just there has to be a lot missing out right now.
Yeah, we're used to my family doesn't know what to do with me because I'm not home this time of year. I leave at 6 a.m. I come home at 7 or 8 at night on a good day. And so I'm only here to sleep. And now that's all different. It's spending way too much time in this house.
Let's touch on cross country in a second, but I wanted to get to indoor outdoor as well, obviously. But you finished 5th in the Indoor Conference USA Championships. Just, if you don't mind, break down the team performance, what you liked, some good individual performances, and even some areas where you saw that you could still improve.
We had a great indoor meet. We were a point away from 4th. And the reason I say that's a great meet is we're not built for indoors. We have for example, we've got a bunch of good throwers. Nick Hicks got second in the weight throw, and Lucas Ribeiro, who also broke a 40-year-old school record, got second in the shot put. And we had other guys score here and there, Michael Yao. But they're really built for outdoors. Our weight throwers are really hammer throwers. Nick Hicks adds the discus. Sam Woodley's a freshman he was throwing far enough to qualify for the NCAA finals in practice. We would have added Dane Stolzik, who's far enough in practice to make the NCAA finals, and James McNann in the javelin. They're javelin throwers. And so we were really looking forward to outdoor. We were the 10K helps us. We have 4 steeplechasers. They don't have a steeplechase indoors, obviously, but 4 that had a shot to make the NCAA regional meet. And one of those that won a Fulbright as well. But we had an outdoor built team. We're very excited about outdoor. Really, we're trying to build a team for 2021 outdoor, and we thought indoor went great. We won the distance medley relay. Elliot Metcalf got 3rd in the mile. It just was really a really solid meet for us, and it was a great launching pad to what I think we've done well in the past, but this was a super exciting team individually and as a group. In the decathlon, we had Corbett Fong got 2nd in the heptathlon indoors, and we would have added Grant Levesque, who redshirted indoors, and in the deck, and that would have been just phenomenal. He was a 16.6 high school vaulter and a 14.1 hurdler. The beauty of this weirdness, though, when mentioned in track, is like this whole thing screws up everybody. The main way it screws it up is all these guys now redshirted. People that were going to graduate in 4 years now have a 5th year. People who are going to be here 5 years now have a 6th year. We have a few athletes that are going to be, under these new rules, 3rd year freshmen outdoors. So it really screws up your recruiting, because all of a sudden that scholarship money is going to be used by the kids you have. But we're going to have these kids when they're 22, 23, even 24 years old. And the things they're going to do are going to be just thrilling. It's going to be super exciting.
A little bit on outdoor here too, of course. A lot. Heck, we've got a lot of time, Coach. But can you talk about kind of a generic journalist question is, hey, what do you expect? Well, what would you have expected with outdoor, and what did y'all miss out on with the outdoor season coming to that abrupt halt?
Oh man, I think like I said, we maybe a top 3 finish this year with, and this is still there for next year, 2021. We're hoping to have a shot to win the title. But really, it was the chance at national points. I mean, Sam Woodley as a freshman had a shot to score at the NCAA meet. He's probably the number 1 guy. We have a vault crew. I didn't mention our vault crew. We have 3 vaulters, and this is where the blessing comes in with the extra years. They'll be here for another 3 to 4 years with Natan Rivera and Thomas Pratt and Alex Slinkman, plus Grant who's our decathlete, are all capable of going 18 feet in the vault. And so this guy, if we can adding them for another year is just outstanding, because you're an 18-foot vaulter, you have a chance to score at the NCAA meet. That's what we're looking for. We've got a crew of guys in the multi-events, in the vault, in the distances, and in the throws that can get to the NCAA meet. Which NCAA meet, I think they kind of compare it to other national championships in a way. But like, to make the NCAA meet, you've got to be in the top 3 to 4%, even to make the first round, maybe 7-8% to make the first round, and maybe in the top 2 to 3% to make the final. So to get in the meet as an individual is extremely difficult. I mean, it's difficult to make any NCAA meet, but some sports are 20, 25% make it. We're talking about less than 10%. And so we have guys that could be in that realm and to score. They only score 8. There's thousands of people in events, and we're trying to score 8, and we have guys that can do that. So we're excited about the coming years.
Stay tuned here on Rice House Insider. Still a lot to get to. I will get broadcasting tips from Coach coming up here in a little bit. If you don't know that backstory, we'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit here on Rice House Insider. Stay tuned.
No one wants to fight the traffic to and from the stadium or arena. You don't have to when you go Wynn. Wynn Transportation. Enjoy the game, not fight the traffic. 5 people or 5,000. Wynn offers customizable group transportation with a wide range of motor coaches, minibuses, and vans, giving your trip an extra special touch. So when it's game time, remember, all you need is Wynn. Book at GoWynn.com. GOWYNNE.com.
Hey, Papa John's here. Who wants a boring sandwich when you can have our new Papadillas at Papa John's? 4 exciting flavors, just $6 each. You're going to love it. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's, Houston.
Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill, voted Houston's best burger. Come by any of the 5 Houston area Christian's Tailgate locations and enjoy never frozen ground beef on a toasted bun with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and your choice of cheese. Your award-winning burger is then served with hand-cut fries or buttermilk battered onion rings. Each tailgate location is a large selection of draft beer and $3 shots. Come early for the game and stay late for karaoke. Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill with 5 Houston area locations.
This refreshing message brought to you by Love Street Kolstyle Blonde. If you're in the mood for something new that's not really new and actually feels like it's been around the whole time, then take a trip down Love Street. This easy drinking anytime Kolstyle Blonde goes great with your favorite record and favorite people. It's a refreshing beer and a state of mind. But I'm just a voice on the radio. You should try it out for yourself. All you need is Love Street. Brewed with love in Houston, Texas at the Karbach Brewing Company.
At Smart Financial, we think your banking experience should feel like a home run. Since 1934, we have prided ourselves on providing hassle-free services with a game plan that focuses on people, not profits. If you live, work, or go to school at or around Rice University, text RICE to 276-278 to become a part of the winning team. That's RICE to 276-278. Smart Financial, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. These have been so fun. Here, our final segment here of our track and field edition. We have Jon Warren joining us right now and wanted to discuss, Coach. We'll get into the broadcasting side of things in just a second. I just find that fascinating. I don't think we've ever talked about, just you and me, but just did want to hit on cross country. How I was talking with Coach Bevan, you want to get that up as soon as possible in the season. You placed third at Conference USA, but just discuss that, what you liked and saw for improvement in cross country, but at the same time, you want to get back out there because as soon as possible when the fall season comes.
The fall season is talk about that for a second. It's interesting with the fall season. They're talking about when they can do football, and they can push it later, and obviously they can do the same with volleyball. Cross country is different because if we push cross country later, you're bumping up an indoor track. Because sometimes I'm a coach of one sport, one program, and sometimes I'm the coach of 3, and those get in the way of each other in a way. So you can't really push cross country into the indoor season. As far as our specific season, we were third last year and the year before at the conference meet. Our conference is phenomenal. Like, I think the best example is Middle Tennessee. They had a pretty bad national meet when they qualified for it, but they're borderline top 10 in the nation. So that's what we're up against in our conference. And we're going to possibly see how a lot of things develop. Redshirt a couple of our top guys next year, put a bunch of guys that redshirted this past year into the season, looking at 2021 as being a potential conference championship NCAA qualifying year. We've got a really good, solid group led by Jose Land, has been our MVP the last 3 years. Alex DePini did well. He's been our number 2 guy last year. But Andrew Bicalid, Adolfo Carvalho, who won a Fulbright, he won't be back, but he's got to go do the Fulbright and get a PhD from MIT. But stuff like that. We've got a really solid group, and I think over the next 2 years, especially 2 years from now, it'll be great. The other thing we've done the last 2 years, as well as the girls, we finished in the top 5 at regionals, which in and of itself is a great thing because the NCAA or the Learfield gives out athletic directors points. And the way that works is they give points all the way down to 64. Well, only 31 teams make the NCAA meet. So if you finish in the top 5 at your region and don't make the NCAA meet, you're counted as being the 32nd team in the NCAA. So for 2 years in a row, we've gotten those coveted, really important Learfield points for Rice. So that's been a big deal as well.
You mentioned Adolfo a couple of times. I'm actually going to interview him coming up on our next show, but just your thoughts on Adolfo Carvalho getting the Fulbright. I mean, my gosh, I can't even put that into context, how amazing that is. But just his contributions during his Rice career, but having an athlete able to get such a prestigious academic honor, how great has that been?
It's, I think it's my job to point out what kind of athlete he is. He was academically, he taught when he does so much tutoring for everybody. He can teach anything. He's an overwhelmingly good team leader, the team captain, team organizer, all that we know about. That shows up when you win a Fulbright. It shows up when you get accepted to MIT in space physics. which I have an old roommate that did that 30 years ago, so I think it's pretty funny. But what he also did as a runner, he was an okay high school runner and a solid worker. He really, to make like I was mentioned earlier, to make that NCAA regional meet is a phenomenal accomplishment. And he was right there. I think he would have been a sub-9, which all the old steeplechasers know what that means. But it would have been one of the top 5 guys that's ever run the steeple for Rice and had a shot to make that NCAA meet. He worked himself into that, to being, he didn't know how to hurdle when he got here, to becoming one of the best in the conference in that event. And we're a good conference that event. We've had a guy finish 3rd in the nation a couple years ago. So it's about as good as it gets. And he's outstanding. So he's, as an athlete, phenomenal person to have on the team.
The Olympics getting pushed back to 2021. How does that affect everything with COVID? But the likes of Scott Phillip, I know, former great, any other former Owls that are affected by the Olympics and your conversations with them? We have a few that are, Scott is the best one, but Charlie Card Childers and a couple guys in the pole vault, Scott Pillow, Alex Sue, are trying to make those trials and trying to move on. It's really hard for the people that aren't sponsored. And the bulk of the athletes don't have any sort of a living sponsorship. If they're sponsored, they're getting shoes and equipment, and then bonus money for doing well. They're not getting a salary, if you will. And so adding another year to them is just going to deplete the depth of what's going on. But there was no choice. I mean, obviously you had to cancel the Olympics for this year, and they're pushing the Olympics back a year and then the World Championships back a year. So from a track watching perspective, the Olympics is in 21. There's a World Champs in 22, a World Champs in 23, and an Olympics in 24. So it's a pretty exciting series of events if you can get there. But yeah, it's a mess. I mean, what Scott had a legitimate argument is like, how do you have an Olympics when some countries allow you to train and give you access to facilities, and we closed all ours? I mean, Rice Track is closed. There's no way to train, and most high schools are closed. So a lot of our athletes aren't able to do anything at this point. So yeah, there was no question they had to do it, but it's going to be really difficult for a lot of these guys in their dreams. Something people watching this obviously probably know, but I'd like to hear your comments on this. Just come January each year, you're doing my side of things, and probably a lot better. I can almost guarantee a lot better, helping out the Houston Marathon for ABC 13. Just you've been doing it several years. I know the stories have been out there on a lot of platforms, but just walk us through how that came about, and just give me some tips. No, just how that all's come about and what you've enjoyed with that. I think it's been so long, I don't remember. They just sort of, Wendy Granado was in charge way back when, I guess about 1999, 2000, whenever it first started. And they wanted somebody to be the color commentator. And I don't know who mentioned my name. Maybe it was Brant Koch, who I've known forever. He's the race director until this year. And just threw out a name, and they gave me a shot. And I learned something very quickly. And this is where you and I are very different. What I do on that broadcast is exactly what I'm doing right now. I just answer Tom Cook's questions and Jeannie Gaston's questions. I literally sit there. I'm doing something different than I do in the broadcast. I'm actually looking at a camera. You notice I never look at the camera. I just look at them. They ask a question, I answer it. And it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. One of the challenges of that is there's hundreds some years of elite athletes. And I think one of the funnier stories was one year they did the national championship for the half marathon. And I went through all the elite athletes and had at least 2 or 3 things, even if they're just little things about it. And one year I got really lucky. Diego Estrada, who I actually had never heard of, hammered from the front, led the entire race in the half marathon. And luckily, since I'd looked at everybody, I had a little bit of history on him to mention it. Otherwise, it would have been like, I don't know who this guy is. So it's a lot of work. So about 95% of my work goes to the trash every year, because you never know who that athlete's going to be. See, now we talk about something we both know about. That's the grind of the prep, right? You're like, hey, I have a lot of good stuff, but that happens in broadcasting too. Right. But no one's going to ask. So you got any good information on the person that finished 18th? Yeah. Yeah, I do, but nobody cares. And they were never on camera, so you can't ever talk about them. Man, that's fascinating, and that's another great asset at Rice, having you involved with that. But finally, some tips. During this time, I've never, obviously not a track background, as you can probably tell, but just what are some tips for casual folks watching, and just what you'd recommend? You talked about earlier, hey, cross-country guys, they can get out and run. But what would be your tips for getting out there and staying and getting in better shape during this time?
If you're more of an elite level runner and you're used to going to the track, this is when you build in a thing what's called Fartlek. Instead of going to a track or being around other people so much, you just get on the roads and do pickups. You do go fast for a minute, slow for a minute, fast for a minute, slow for a minute. If you're a beginning runner, I recommend that as well, but run for a minute, walk for a minute, run for a minute, walk for a minute. But the biggest thing is this is where the running, being a runner trumps everything else, because it's the one thing you can do from your front door. And it's also something under the new rules today, you don't have to wear a mask when you're doing it when you're outside. So you can get out and run and the hard part is avoiding other people. I mean, I've been real diligent about running solo this whole time, and you see people with pairs. We've got to be diligent about not being like our team would. I mean, they'll run in a pack of 15. That's going to be interesting if that rule's still in effect next fall, but they've got to get out the front door at all. The number one tip I'd give anybody is get out your front door. My daughter doesn't get out enough and she goes insane. You got to get out the front door, spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes walking, jogging, running backwards, skipping, sprinting, whatever it happens to be, but get out that front door.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. Thanks for what you do for Rice. And we'll be talking hopefully sometime sooner than later, all right?
I hope so. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jon Warren, men's track and field coach. That does it for another edition of Rice Owls Insider. Remember, you can catch us on the podcast form, Apple, Spotify, and here on the Rice Owls YouTube channel. Have a great rest of this day or night. God bless. Go Owls. And we'll talk to you next time here on Rice Owls Insider.
On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, you've been listening to Rice Owls Insider. Today's show was presented by Christian's Tailgate, voted best burger in Houston. Carbach Brewing Company, crafted for serious fun. IBEW Local Union number 716. And by Houston Methodist, leading medicine. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the Rice Sports Network.